Yeah, and what about the soil? You mentioned soil,
Yeah.
like, because I have a little understanding, but I think people just look at soil as soil, things growing it, and that's it. How do you look at it?
Uh, yeah, like I think that is, it's like, like the Green Revolution.
Sorry,
Sorry.
the Green
The
Revolution.
Green Revolution was like, let's produce like lots of food, like let's get artificial nitrogen down, let's force the land to do what we want to do. Let's have these huge monocrops, and let's like have a lot of like international trade with food. And it was more this idea that you're going to force the land to do a certain thing, and it's all going to be boxed up into these monocrop farms, and like factory farms and things like that. And it was all about like producing a lot of food. Um, Not necessarily a huge diversity of food, but just like quantity wise, a lot. And like that so-called green revolution has a lot to answer for in terms of like the degradation of soils that we see like across the world. Um, and so like now that in like more recent years, it's becoming more in like in it's becoming more popular to think about soil in the complexity that it actually like exists in. So
Yeah, because soil can be like dead or alive kind of thing, isn't
well,
it?
the soil is alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not alive, it's not soil, I
Yeah, but
suppose. Yeah.
do you think like people even? I don't think a lot of people may not even comprehend that soil can be dead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's dirt.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of dirt, like.
Yeah. Uh it's alive, and it's full of different species that are wanting to make relationships and do fill their little niches. And uh like there's a like God, there's loads of reasons to look after the soil, but in terms of actually producing food, uh like so for example, even just like like the soil acting as a sponge and being able to cope with say like heavy rains, which we get a lot of in this country, a lot of rain, so you want your soil to be alive so that whenever that rain falls, then it's actually there's like water-based life forms in the soil that are ready to actually do something with the water that's falling. um, Otherwise, you're just kind of you're getting water like sitting on top, and it's not actually like going anywhere. And then you get like waterlogging and everything. So yeah, different places with different like, coping with different weather patterns and everything are going to need to do different things with the soil to be able to grow food. But like the principles are pretty much the same anywhere you you go, is that you need organic matter, and you need microbes in the soil to be able to hold soil structure for the plants, to be able to hold water in the soil for the plants. Um, and Also then I guess that's where the mycelium and the mycorrhizal fungi like can come into the conversation too, is that they're the ones that are like breaking down the nutrients to make them bioavailable for the plant. Like
So
bacteria are in there doing things too.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the mycelium is breaking down the bacteria
It's making it bioavailable. Yeah.
for the
So
plants to grow. So when
yeah.
you put fertilizer on them, what changes that?
Fertilizers like fast food for the plants. Um yeah, it's
So what's
like
being the soil? The
I
plants eating the fast food.
yeah, like if you can get nitrogen, just or you can just get it. It's just there. It's bioavailable. It's there. I'll just take that. Like I don't need the eyes the plant. Don't need to um form a more of a complex relationship in this exchange of energy to be able to get the nutrients. So that means that there's no need for the fungus. Plant's just gonna grow. But it
The less
doesn't.
nutrient.
Well, yeah, like the soil over time isn't going to be benefited from the other, like from the soil structure and water retention that microbial life will sustain. So, uh, yeah, it's like you could it's kind of like you can also look at it in the human world, like the complexity of the relationships. Like, are you just going to go to drive through McDonald's and it'd be like, okay, burger, thank you, and drive on? Or do you have a actual relationship with, say, the farmer who produces the eggs? And yeah, it's by having a more of a close relationship, whether that's a human relationship above ground or whether it's a root to fungus relationship below ground. Um, and with those relationships there comes a diversity of different um actions and exchanges, and with that diversity you're getting a more resilient ecosystem, whether it's the resiliency, like the resiliency that's in the soil is connected to the resiliency above the soil. So our community resiliency and being able to nourish yourselves, like the resiliency of the soil is foundational for that. You can't have a strong, resilient community on
So we're like an
shit soil.
offspring. We're like an offspring of strong soil,
Yeah,
healthy soil.
yeah. Well, yeah. If we don't look after the soil,
Yeah.
we're not gonna make it anyway.
I feel like I've seen community gardens now. I remember being on a train coming out of London. I always used to see these loads of like look like little plots of plants. I don't know if that's them or not, but I assume that's a community garden that everyone's just comes to grow loads of greenhouses, for example. Would that be a community garden? I assume that there's not going to be greenhouses there, but maybe there will be.
A polytunnel, they're
Polycultures.
very handy. Kind of like essential parts of like, yeah,
We just have them as well.
Um, do I have them?
No, well, in the
Oh, we
community
have
garden.
one. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I would call that more of a community farm, but that's maybe splitting hairs. Yeah, no, there's a polytunnel there. Mm-hmm.
A community farm, yeah. It
Yeah.
sounds like more of a community farm than a garden.
Yeah, yeah, but community gardens are also very important and can, create like, can be a really good food source for people. But there is this thing where there seems cute, like, oh, let's do a cute little community garden. Um, but yeah, like community farm is maybe like speaks more towards it being like an actual place for there's more food being produced for more people. Or yeah, maybe it's not like we've all divided up our like allotments, like where we had like, okay, that's your bed and it's my bed. It's more about like deciding together like what we want to grow together and helping each other do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Less like, yeah, you could get like allotments in cities and things, so some people will wait like years to get on a listing to get an allotment in some more urban areas. And that's grand. Like that's if that's what somebody wants, that's like great for them. It's not so much what we're doing at Torah Tulun. It's more social. It's more about deciding what we want to grow, and then like enjoying the process of doing it. And yeah, sometimes you go out and it's raining, sometimes you go out and it's cold.
It's typical. I mean, if you live in Ireland, that's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, just embrace the weather.
Exactly. And what do you feel motivates you then to like? Why are you so driven to have an impact with this work?
Yeah, I suppose like why am I so driven? It's just like I said, I've been thinking about it for a long time. thinking about where food comes from and the significance of it. Um, all of the ripple effects that happen because of certain of a food of what if it's a banana, like like what happened to soil that the banana was growing on, like what happened to land before the banana tree was planted there, how long's the banana tree's been growing there, like the person who harvested the banana, like how much money did they get, who owns the farm, like who organized for that banana to be transported all across the world. To me, the man, and then the person who owns the shop that's selling the banana, like who are they? Is it a person or is it a corporate entity? They give all of these different things that, like, which is why we talk about like food systems, because it's basically like the food system is like a system of systems, so your your respiratory system is just as much a part of the food system as the economic system. Or, you could look at the tech systems. It's all these different, like a system's just a way of looking at the world and trying to understand the complexity of the relationships. And then like I guess to answer the question, my motivation for looking at food and taking food really seriously and working on it on a community level is because I'm just very alert to how important food is because of all the different interrelationships that are needed to be able to produce food, and then the impacts that the food has once you've eaten it.